Hi, today I'm going to continue to talk about self acceptance, and I want to talk about a term that's used in therapy, which is called radical acceptance. And it just really talks about like accepting reality rather than resisting it, helps to reduce internal conflict. And so there could be some things that have happened in your life that you feel like ashamed of, or some things that have happened in your life that you wouldn't want anybody to know, things that have happened in your life that you don't even like to think about, maybe past trauma or things that are really, really serious. And so you want to be able to accept the things that have happened to you. And definitely, I would recommend getting therapy, to have someone to talk to have someone to walk you through the process of what that looks like, to accept the things that have happened in your life, and to be able to forgive yourself. Sometimes when things happen to us in our life, no matter what it is, we often blame ourselves for those things. And sometimes there are certain situations that could be out of our control, and we have to be able to forgive ourselves for those things that have happened, because some things are just out of our control. And so yesterday I talked a little bit about controlling the controllables. And if there are some things that you don't like about yourself, you can just simply say, I don't like this part of myself, but I accept it. I think we all have things that we need to work on. But I think self-acceptance is the first step to say, like, this is who I am as a person. Like, for instance, with me, I can be really loud at times, like when I'm around people that I really like and I'm having a really good time, I can just be really loud. And oftentimes my sister will point out, like, oh my gosh, you're so loud. And it's like, this is just who I am as a person. Like, I may be loud, other people may not like it, but I accept that part of myself, and I don't try to hide that part of myself. I don't try to diminish that part of myself to please other people. I'm just a loud person at times. And so the people who are in my space, I mean, they could like it or not like it, but I think the biggest thing is I have to learn to accept things about myself. And so I think we all have things that at times maybe other people may point them out. And this is what I used to always tell my clients in therapy. I'm like, if there's something, they're like, oh, well, I feel uncomfortable in social situations, like if I go to the cafeteria or a main area in the school. And so I would often say, like, well, how do you feel about that? Like, does it bother you? Like, the things in our life that are constantly pointed out, if those things don't bother us, or it doesn't make us feel uncomfortable, like some people don't feel uncomfortable about being more introvert. Some people don't feel uncomfortable about being extrovert. And so I think just accepting like who we are as a person and just being able to have the freedom and the ability to be ourselves, I think is a really, really big deal, because everybody is different. God made each one of us special. We have our own gifts and talents, and those things that are unique to us. Like, I am introvert, but in some ways I am extrovert. Like when it comes to engaging with my clients, or at my job, talking to kids, or doing different classes at school with kids and engaging with them, I am super extrovert. But in my real life, day to day, for the most part, I am introvert. And so I don't have to try to be anything else except to just really be myself, And so some things that we can do for acceptance, we can do positive affirmations. We can do journaling prompts. You can do like, what are 3 things that I appreciate about myself today? What are 3 things that I've done really well today at the end of the day? What parts of myself do I struggle to accept? And why do I struggle to accept these things about myself? You can also do, try to reframe the negative self-talk. I've been hearing a lot about that just over the last probably couple years, just been learning a lot about in various circles that I'm in, just about the power of my words and just saying things, negative things sometimes, or speaking bad things into existence sometimes when we don't really mean to, or even something as simple as saying, like a couple weeks ago, I just kept saying, like, I feel so overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed. And then I started to really feel overwhelmed to the point where I was so exhausted that I had to take days off work and start taking vitamins and things like that. And so I think our words really have power. And so when we're speaking things about ourselves, even if it's something that we don't really feel in that moment, or even if it's an insecurity that we have, I think we should start to speak those things, even though we don't see it in our life. We should speak who we want to be. Like, I am confident, I am strong, I am independent, I am smart, I'm intelligent, I know how to walk into a room and command a room. And just saying those things about ourselves, those positive things about ourselves, and having positive self-talk with ourselves, I think is really so helpful and beneficial. And then I think I talked before about having like compassionate self-talk and just being compassionate. And I think that's like equivalent to like being able to give ourselves grace for the mistakes that we make and the things that we do. And sometimes when things don't work out, not being so hard on ourselves and having so many regrets, but just giving ourselves some grace and self-compassion. That's a path definitely to self-acceptance. Just being kind to yourself, treating yourself like you would your very best friend, and offering up forgiveness to yourself, and just really learning how to just love and appreciate yourself, spending time by yourself. Like, some people are like, I do not want to go to dinner by myself. I wouldn't go to a movie by myself. Some people constantly have to have other people around them. But I think it's so healthy if you can go and grab an appetizer at a restaurant and just be by yourself and in your thoughts. I think it helps to build confidence in ourselves. I think it helps for us to be able to have time to just be with ourselves in our thoughts, without having that constant interference from someone else telling us what we should do or who we should be, and just making yourself like the first voice that you hear when things happen or things go on, and not immediately running to somebody else. I think it is so beneficial that when something happens in life, to take it in prayer first, because a lot of times in the past, I was going to like my friends, like, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And what do you think about this? And that is not probably the best way to go about it. I think for me, the best thing to do is to just sit quietly and go into prayer and have some time to just meditate and be with my thoughts and think for myself, by myself. I think that is so healthy. And I think that's also a factor in self-acceptance, just learning like what you would do in various situations and being able to accept the outcome and your ability to problem solve, your ability to come to the rescue for yourself. And so those are just some of the things that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to jump on here really quickly. And I'm so thankful for you for coming on here and joining me. And this is my last day of talking about self-care. And we'll have a whole new topic tomorrow. We'll be getting into some heavier stuff because we're getting closer towards the holiday. And I do want to touch on just grief and loss during the holiday season, because it can be a lot. And I know that just even like this past week, just looking on Facebook, some people have, one of my friends lost her dad, and just some other people have lost like family members. Another friend lost her brother. And so I think it would be beneficial to kind of talk about how to deal with grief during the holiday. And so I just want us to challenge you to think about ways that you can accept yourself. I really, really would like to encourage, for those people who do like to journal, doing those journal prompts and thinking about like, what are some things that I don't like about myself? What are some things that I would like to change? Why don't I like these things about myself? And just really having like a really, really good self-evaluation of yourself, especially going into 2025. If you're thinking like, I don't like where my life is right now and I want to make some changes, then you have the opportunity to do that really through just taking a really thorough evaluation of yourself and where you are right now. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great night.